Hafa de hello. Welcome to the beautiful island of Guam. Welcome these lovely ladies that we have here today. We have the beautiful, talented Clare Calvo. We have the awesome, remarkable, one of my BFFs for life, Trina Borja. And today, one of the things we want to talk about is how to heal your own self, your own mind, your own body. First off, I want to thank you all if you're listening to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, or KUAM Facebook. We thank you so much for joining us today. And so one of the newest, biggest trends, and it's going to happen right here on Guam, right ladies?
Yes.
Is retreats, right? And I'm going to keep it real. I got my local girls right here. My whole life, I've only done 2 retreats my whole life. My first retreat was confirmation. Yeah. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
We all had to go. They
Yes.
stuck us
Yes.
in Melissa.
Yes.
And with the Carmelites, God bless all
Yes.
these Carmelites that we love. And we had to pour out our feelings and our emotions to kids that were the same age as us, which was a little intimidating because
for sure.
you don't want to tell another 16-year-old any of your fears or your concerns. And then your mom and dad write you this letter
Yes.
that's so ridiculously emotional that you can't not cry
Yes.
in front of all your friends. And you're a little embarrassed, but then when you walked away, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, you walked away and you felt spiritually stronger, right?
Yes.
So
I
you
think
two
so.
did the same thing.
I don't remember that.
Oh. What was your
Maybe
memory?
things were a little different when I was
Well,
confirmed.
what's yours?
I did it
Claire?
for my kids. When my kids did it.
I did.
At-
Oh, you did
here-
it with your kids
here,
again.
Here on Guam for my
Yeah.
boy, and then in the States for my girl. They did it. They do it exactly the same way in the States, just so you know. My girl had to go to some mountain retreat, and I had
Yeah.
to write some special letter.
Yes.
And I had to mail it or give it to them in a sealed
Yes.
envelope, brown, with no words, no nothing on
Yes.
there. And then they read it, and then they cried, and then they came home and said, "I love you, Mom."
Aw.
Hey,
And that's all that
Claire and
matters.
Zeus, I had the same thing.
Hey.
But obviously Claire is the
Where
Calvo
did you
in
get
the
the
house.
first number?
Calvo.
I don't know
What was your
that.
experience? You
Yeah,
probably had
so-
caviar and lobster at yours. And
No,
you had some
with
champagne.
Polly, Ray, and Aganya. No.
Okay.
In fact, I actually had to switch last minute to Aganya Heights.
Okay.
Hapa caviar. I don't know anything about caviar.
Right.
I was
Caviar.
switched
That's how
from-
tomorrow say it. Caviar. Right? Because we're like old school.
No, because I was at Aganya, and because this was like 90, right? Whenever that was. But they switched me to get, or actually, I was asked to leave if I wouldn't, always outside the box. If I wouldn't pick a female, because I wanted to have a Nino, not a Nina.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was
yes.
someone specifically who I
Yeah.
wanted.
Yeah.
Wow, and they asked you
And
to
so
leave?
they said, no, girls have to pick women, boys pick men. I'm like, well, yeah, can't think of
And
anybody.
it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, so then basically, well, thank you very much.
Thanks to Claire.
It
It's
is.
not like
So
that
they
anymore.
said-
Thank you,
can
Claire.
pick whatever
Yes,
you want
she started
for your
the
Nino or
trend.
your Nina.
Yes.
So I went to
Thank you.
Aganya Heights, but I don't remember ever going through.
A retreat at
Did you
with the Carmelites?
Okay, so the concept of the retreats is to heal your mind, soul, and body. Did you get that feeling? Because I did. I don't know about you. I did feel, but I was only 16. I don't know. It was a lot. I
That's
felt.
a long time ago, honey.
Okay, all right. Did you?
You know what? I'm 45 and I really don't remember much from
Then you-
that
then
long.
you-
Well,
then
I was a nurse,
you
so I
did
don't
not
remember-
feel.
I remember the
Right.
experience for my children.
Yes. Okay.
So-
And my second retreat in my whole entire life is couples retreat.
Oh,
So,
good for you.
In my religion, in our religion,
Marriage encounter?
yeah, you can't get married in the church unless you go couples retreat.
Yeah.
And there's no pass or fail. Even like in the end, if the priest says, I don't think y'all can match, he's still gonna marry you in the church, right? So
Okay.
that was my second retreat, and there were some couples where we were like, dang, I don't even understand why you two are hooking up, but yeah, we're gonna hook up. Hook it up. And then it's like you're rolling the dice. Like, I think that one's gonna get divorced within a year,
Oh my
2
gosh.
years. But those are my only
Jen.
2 retreats.
So
ladies
that sounds
and
very
gentlemen.
different from couples retreat. Like
Right,
the movie.
right.
That's the only couples retreat.
How many retreats have you been to in your lifetime? You probably can't count.
No, I can count. But let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4,
She looks like great.
5. I'm counting where I went.
Right.
So
yeah.
one with Claire for the Rhoda one that we did. That was a long weekend, and then 3 so
I know
far.
you did Philippines. I
3 so
remember that.
far
I
with
saw all
Grace,
your
and that's
pictures
my
on
third-
Facebook.
yes,
I
that
saw
was my
beautiful
third one with
Grace. Yes,
Grace.
yes.
And then this one will be my fifth one, I suppose.
5th, so you're
But
beating
that's
me.
within-
I have 2. You have
That's
5.
within
How many you
5
have?
or
Claire?
6 years. Oh, she's like a
Again,
jillion.
I don't remember.
A jillion.
I mean, there's been different kinds, you know?
Girl,
Yoga
you need to take
retreats,
some ginkgo
detox.
biloba.
No, but
You don't remember
No,
SHIT.
but that one.
What? How old are you?
That one specifically. Exactly, because there's so many.
All right, I'm not going to ask you any more questions from the past.
Jen,
Well,
because
now
you're not
you understand.
remembering.
Let's
Well, now
focus.
you understand why I detox so much.
Let's
Right.
Because
focus
there's
on
a
the
lot
present,
from the
Jen.
past that I need to cover.
Focus on the present.
Right. So let me give you some stats real quick about retreats, right? Retreats are the newest medical wellness tourism industry trend, and it's based on a curative approach, a health promoting inventions based on preventative approaches and lifestyle changes, and it fosters a sense of self-responsibility. As a nurse, ladies and gentlemen, truly research has shown over and over again, if you take self-responsibility for your health and wellness, you will live and be a healthier person.
Absolutely.
You guys agree?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So retreats experience usually include healthy meals, connection with nature, yoga, saunas, beauty treatments, reflection, rejuvenation, and opportunities to regain health. The latest research study that was produced, the average abdominal girth, which is your belly, was reduced by 2.7 centimeters for people that did attend retreats. The average weight was reduced by 1.6 kilograms after they attended a retreat, and the average blood pressure typically dropped 16.1 points. As a nurse, those are significant stats. That's
Nice.
making me say to myself, I need to
You
get
gotta
out of
go.
my two little box retreat, and I need to venture out
So
and
you're
try.
coming on the weekend, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, Jen's coming on the weekend.
And
Please
so
did you hear
let's talk about all these other retreats. What other retreats have you guys? Tell me what's your favorite retreat and what's your favorite retreat and why it was your favorite retreat and what did you get out of it? That's a
favorite
threefold
one?
question.
That's kind of tough.
Claire, let her think longer because
Yeah.
it takes her a little while. So I'm gonna go with you
Okay,
first. All right.
okay. Gosh.
Favorite retreat?
That's tough.
You've been to
I've been
six,
to
five.
four, and this will be my fifth one.
Oh, four.
And they,
So of the four, which one?
I can't say a favorite because they each gave me something different at that point that I went to
Really?
it. So there are all different types of them, and everything that I got back out of it really was just focusing on what I needed for myself at that time and what I needed for my spiritual self, my mental self, my healthy self. So I there really is no favorite. They're all favorites because I get something out of it. I meet new people.
You're a mommy. Mommies always say they're all my favorites.
No, that's not like
They really
that.
are all
They
your
really are, and
favorites.
then I meet new people, and I connect with all like-minded people, which is the best part. Truly, it is because it's just all about connecting with other people and with yourself. Truly, so I just like them all. They just benefit me in so many different ways. So
All right,
I like
Claire.
them all.
Yeah,
you're
I mean
up.
that's exactly how I feel because number one, there's a lot to choose from in all the years that I've been facilitating and attending retreats. So depending on the different time in my life, whatever phase I was in, whether it was a yoga or a detox retreat or specifically a raw food or whatnot. And also, like Trina had said, it's always a different dynamics, with a different group of people because you show up at a retreat, whether you're facilitating or attending, and you have the different therapies, the different classes, workshops, whatever is going to be available. But truly, especially the ones that we've had this year at Soulcation Retidian, different people coming from different backgrounds, different levels of whether it's yoga or just newly introduced to like a holistic lifestyle, and everyone brings a different special dynamic to the group. So I mean, same thing, I can't really, they're so varied and different in many ways.
Yes.
But every time that I've attended a retreat, either as a facilitator or an attendee, it's always been completely life transforming experience.
Absolutely.
Even as a facilitator?
Oh, absolutely.
Gosh,
Really?
So much
I mean,
to
it's
learn
stressful,
from
because
so many different
planning and
Yes.
organizing, but
Yes.
once you're there and you're immersed in it, everyone is involved. Everyone is sharing, giving, and taking. We're all learning from each other. It's not just that's the instructor, I'm the student. We're all learning from each other all the time. So, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
And everyone's
perfect.
different perspectives too, I think.
So let me tell you what is kind of my that kind of I don't like to share a lot.
Yes.
I don't.
Well,
I,
usually the thing
I don't.
is
I don't
I've
need
told that
everybody
to
up in
Claire.
my business.
Yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
And then I don't really know if I give my business if it's going to be on the 6 o'clock news
Sure.
tomorrow morning.
Sure.
And so, tell me, how do you guys handle that. How do you handle, especially if you're the facilitator, you're going to promise me that what I say in this retreat's not going to leave the retreat and not be on the 6 o'clock news tomorrow? Or tell me how you guys handle confidential, really private issues, because I'm sure people break down.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
because just in the 2 I went to, people were sharing things that I thought were quite intimate,
Yes.
sexual abuse, and I was
Yes.
like, is this really the forum for you to share that? But I
Yeah.
know in my heart, I was like, I'll never tell anybody
Sure.
what you said in this retreat, but I'm sure you guys get
Yeah.
sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse discussions in your retreats.
That's part of the healing.
Yeah.
Is sharing.
I gotta
Truly.
share.
And honestly, usually
I gotta
those,
share with total strangers.
Well, the thing is, you kind of go in there. I mean,
Yeah.
you think of the like-minded people who are
Yes.
even putting the money in to come to a retreat like this.
Yes.
And it's of course, we reiterate it, but there's an ethical code of conduct
Yes.
that everyone, of course, it's one thing to write it down, but if you have to do that, are you really going to hold to it? It's about truly coming from a space of integrity
And
that
respect.
we're all sharing here, and
Yeah.
we've never
And
had
so
an
no
issue.
problems.
And
In your experience, you two, no problems with people going, oh my God, I'm so sorry that.
well, intimately, honestly, when you get that group setting and you do a little bit of sharing, then there are also opportunities where you will maybe be walking along the beach and someone says, hey, I just want to talk to you, and so there's that one-on-one connection, and you get to know people that way as well. But honestly, it's out of respect for others that you would not share something, because, and then for yourself, if you don't feel comfortable, then by all means you don't
Yeah.
share something. You only share what you feel comfortable with, and if it resonates with you that someone is sharing something, you're like, oh gosh, that clicked with me, and I really want to share that. When we were in the Philippines and we were sharing this little group, Claire was saying something, and there's a lot going on with me for that year, last year in November, with my sister and all that, and so there was just a lot to share. But I definitely hold close to my heart what I feel I'm not ready for. But if I'm ready for it, then I do share it. And so that makes a huge difference, because for me, if I want to share, I really want it to be able to help somebody else. Even if it's just one person that says, oh my gosh, I went through that and I didn't know what to do. She did the same thing. Maybe I can talk to her later. Because if I'm thinking that, someone else must be thinking that as well. But I only share what's comfortable for me. And then I hope that at some point I can have a relationship. And again, like-minded people, we make friendships from near and far, and we keep those connections, and we're like, oh my gosh, this helped me so much, I really appreciate it, and then you get to talking to people, like I said, one-on-one, where you get to know them a little bit better. There's never a forced issue in terms of that. And some people, and at that one that we did in the Philippines, where some people didn't say anything at all.
See, I have a feeling I'm going to be like that.
And that's okay.
Well, because in my
It's
profession,
okay.
and I'm not going to lie, as a nurse, I have to gain the patient's trust
Absolutely.
first. I can
Absolutely.
see a patient 6-7 times, and they'll
Yeah.
never tell me
Absolutely.
that they think they have an STD and their husband's been cheating on them,
Yeah.
for the last 6 months. And I really want to be tested for an STD.
Yeah.
But it might take me 3-4 visits before she's actually going to open up.
Sure.
She's going to come in and say, I think I have a UTI.
Yes.
And then the next visit,
Yeah.
I've been depressed. And then it takes me a good while to earn the trust. So
Sure.
in
But
the
it
retreats,
personalizes it. You see what I'm saying? It
Yes,
would personalize it for
it
them.
does.
Because I could relate to you when you say you don't want your stuff in the 6 o'clock news. Jen,
yes.
I grew up
I know.
knowing people were going to
You
say
are
stuff.
the
No,
cowgirl,
I'm saying
right?
is people
I
are going to
know.
say stuff regardless.
Yeah.
So if I'm at my authentic, truthful who
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
people are going to say and think regardless what they're going to think and say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't, for me at least, I can't care about that.
Yeah, and we can't control what
Yeah.
other people say and do. We can only control how we react to it. And that's what Claire and I have, I've worked on that for a very long time since I've known Claire, and it's been really hard. And so that whole transformation of really being able to release what other people are saying.
And I agree.
It's so hard.
I
and
think
here in Guam,
to heal, you
even
have
harder.
to release it. I totally
Absolutely,
agree.
absolutely.
But to each his own, of course.
Yeah.
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 Whatever level people are comfortable with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's never any
absolutely.
forcing. And if it resonates, it resonates. And, if it
And
doesn't,
so
it doesn't.
I'm going to throw it out there, but I'm apt to believe that probably one of the biggest rewards is that you guys probably create lasting lifetime friendships.
Oh, you have no
Absolutely.
idea.
Because after I've
You have
spilled
no
my
idea.
guts out to you, you're
Yeah.
gonna be my BFF.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna keep her.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be like, you are now my BFF. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm going to be your BFF a cajillion times over.
I'm gonna tell you all. So I feel like that's probably a positive, and everybody in the world could use another BFF.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
Absolutely.
There are times when we're down and that BFF is having her own issues. What's the other BFF I can call to
exactly.
to bond, to
and there are different
confide
people
in
that
and,
can help you through different things, right?
Yes.
But yeah, there are people that we've met from all over the world, thanks to Grace and thanks to even Clare, who there's people that are even living on Guam and doing her retreats that are from all over the place. And so it's wonderful to have that connection, again, like-minded people that are going to connect on different levels, which is really phenomenal.
So I just went to social media. I Googled all these retreats that are happening. There's the exercise fitness retreats, boot camp, the trench, survivor. There's work awareness retreats right now where you have this very stressful job and they provide awareness and mindfulness about how to manage your workday. There's yoga and meditation retreats. There's healing massages retreats. There's rebalancing body work retreats, body cleansing and detox retreats, and wellness retreats. Of all of those, which one have you guys tried, and which one do you? Man, this is a lot.
That's
It's a
lot.
lot of retreats.
That's a lot of stuff.
Which one? Let's say, which one do you recommend for the everyday person that's just struggling with life? Which one?
Well, that's kind of like what we're offering this weekend. Like with Grace here and Chris here, you have the opportunity to try different. What we have here already with our local plant-based nutritionist and chef Jenny, and I'm here teaching yoga, and there's many other wonderful yoga teachers here on island. But to also have, aside from that, we're having someone visiting who's going to be instructing capoeira. There's going to be Grace, of course, she has a plethora of things under her belt from she's a chef, a raw food or plant-based chef, as well as a yoga instructor, as well as meditation, all different kinds of things, as well as Chris, who's a block therapy instructor, certified instructor. And so, this one is incorporating a lot of the different mental, emotional, physical aspects in one.
It's whole mind
holistic,
and body.
Right.
Mind and body.
And we're at the beach. We're teaching Eco Beach. So, on every level, we're, eating, sleeping, breathing, holistic health and wellness.
Wonderful.
For the week.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna pause there,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna bring you guys in. She sold it for you. She introed it for you guys. Grace and Burkham.
Yes.
And then Chris.
We'll sit right on that side.
Okay. I'm going to introduce each of you, and then you just kind of tell us your background, and then after that, then we'll talk about the retreat, and you guys just share whatever you want to share about the retreat to get people to jump on board and attend this weekend. Yeah. All right. Welcome. We've got the wonderful, remarkable two guests in the house today. We're going to introduce each of them individually, let them tell you kind of what brought them to the beautiful island of Guam. And then after that, we'll proceed to talk about what event they're going to be actively a part of. So to my left, I have the beautiful Grace Van Burkham. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you here to Guam.
Hi. Well, I'm a raw food chef, a registered holistic nutritionist, registered yoga teacher, and a certified personal trainer. And so
you're who I want to be when I grow up. All right.
I predominantly focus on food. I'm really passionate about teaching people how to heal their bodies and transform their lives through plant-based eating, and more specifically fresh food, raw vegan foods.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you eat it, you breathe it.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
Right? All right. And to my left is Chris Prado. Hi, Chris. Welcome to Guam.
Hi, half a day.
Oh my goodness.
I guess that's what we say here.
Woo! Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you here to Guam.
Sure. Well, it's great to be here on this beautiful island. And I am a body work specialist. I help people with movement, specifically people with injuries. I also teach something called block therapy, which targets the fascia system in the body, which is a whole new frontier, both in science,
Never heard of
movement,
it ever
and
in
medicine.
my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, right? You go to
Yes.
this retreat, he's going to teach it
Absolutely.
to you. Yeah.
Absolutely, and Grace and I, we work together, and we help people transform both physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's all encompassed in one thing, and we meet people where they're at, and we're able, like you were saying, how do you trust, right? How do you trust someone, and how do you trust your best friend? How do you know to trust them?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we work with, both on a physical level and a mental level. As a massage therapist, when someone comes to me for the first time, I have to earn their trust before I can put their hands on them.
Yeah,
So it's all a
absolutely,
process. It's all a
absolutely.
process. Yeah.
For me, I don't know. So I know I'm a nurse. I'm so sorry. But for me, when Grace was like, "And I'm certified and I'm registered," that begins my initial trust. I'm not gonna lie, because there's so many people on social media that say they're body massage, right? And then
Sure.
you meet them and they've never even went to schooling or learned the mechanics of how raw nutrition works or how yoga works, and they just picked it up one day. So I know for me initially, I'm ready to trust you guys because you've proven to me that you've done the schooling, the education, the background, the work, and into these processes. Where do you guys come from? Because you guys look kind of tan. Why are you guys tan? Are you from a sunny state?
Well, I'm from Canada, but we both live in Nicaragua.
Oh.
I have a wellness center there, and Nicaragua's very hot. Even hotter
Yeah.
than here.
I'm like, y'all look a little local, like you've already been to the beach, right? Oh.
I'm originally from the Sunshine State, so I'm born and raised in Florida.
Oh.
And we're in Nicaragua now, so.
And how do you guys like it out there? How long have you lived out there?
Full time for me, 3 years, I guess. You've
And
about
I've
2
been
years.
out there since 2017. Yeah.
Wow. Is that going to be home for you guys or just hanging out?
It's home right now.
Home for now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you guys just travel all around the world and help people like us people here on Guam to just live healthier? Is that what you guys are doing?
Well, right
You're
now,
traveling?
right now it's rainy season in Nicaragua, so we shut down in Nicaragua during this time, and we started our journey September 14th, and we started in North Carolina, then Croatia, then Mauritius, and now here in Guam. We're so excited to be here.
Yay. Thank you guys for coming. And so these guys are here, ladies and gentlemen, to educate you and to encourage you to attend the Glow Soulcation November 5th through the 11th at Rotidian. So could you guys kind of just give everybody some background of what we're going to do at this retreat?
Right, so for me, I'm going to be focusing on the food. I will be doing all the recipes, well, about half the recipes with Jenny. But the portion that I'm doing will be mostly raw food, fresh foods. I focus on chemical-free foods to reduce inflammation in the body, and I try to make it as delicious as possible. And part of what I do is also teaching people and inspiring people how to do it themselves. So there'll be a couple of talks that I'll be doing and demos, and all week I'll be sharing tips with people on how they can incorporate more fresh foods and less chemicals into their eating repertoires.
So what are some myths about raw food eating that you hear that you'd like to clear up
Yes.
today?
I hear
'Cause
all,
I know there's a lot.
Yes.
I'm not
hear-
gonna lie.
all the time I hear that raw food is boring or bland,
Okay.
and it's definitely not. You can get very creative and have lots of delicious flavors. I also hear that it takes a lot of time. And one thing that I love teaching people, it doesn't take a lot of time. There's definitely some organization involved, but I think with any way that you eat, you need to organize your kitchen a little bit. And what I pride myself on is my recipes are usually 8 to 10 recipes and 8 to 10 ingredients or less,
Okay. Yeah.
and usually take less than 15 minutes to make.
What? Seriously?
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're professing that they're tasty.
Yes. Well,
I will profess.
I don't.
We will all profess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you about
Tasty.
locals. If it doesn't taste good with tons of salt and all that stuff, they don't want to eat it. So
Yeah.
I think that's the selling point. You're going to have to sell people that it
Yes.
still tastes good
Yeah.
even though it's healthy. Because a common myth is that if it's healthy, it doesn't taste good.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that as a holistic nutritionist, none of my clients would listen to me if I didn't teach them how to make foods that tasted good, and if I didn't feed them foods that tasted good. So part of me having client success is making sure that people really enjoy what they're eating while they transform their health.
So after you do the retreat and you're teaching everybody that's there how to prepare raw foods, do you have like a recipe book
Yes.
or a guide, and is it on your internet, or do you have
Yes,
do you guys have an internet site that people can
Yeah.
go to and visit who you guys are all about?
Yep, my personal website, www.gracevanbrickham.com, just my name,
Okay.
has over 500 recipes on there, and I have 3 books for sale and 1 coming up. And then I have my
Congratulations.
wellness center website as well. Yeah.
Oh, so you have 2 websites. One is for raw
For me,
food, and then
one is personally for me, and when I travel around the world and do my international teachings, and then I also have my wellness center website in Nicaragua that has lots of
that's
good health
awesome.
information too.
And so, who is your hardest client?
Uh,
who was the
Yes.
one, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I could bring my mom and dad to you,
Right.
and you could spend the next 50 years with them, and
Yeah,
they're not
right.
gonna try it. So, who's your hardest client, and how do you convince those people that just don't want to change? What are your tactics to try to convince them to adopt a healthier, raw diet lifestyle?
Right. Well, like Chris was saying earlier, you just have to meet people where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Some people come to me and they're totally open and want to change everything immediately, and some people come to me and say, well, I'm not giving up my cheese or my meat.
Right.
But I still want to get healthier. So I don't, if someone doesn't, let's say, want to be entirely vegan, I won't not work with them. So I meet people where they're at, and I believe in baby steps. I believe in little changes every day or every week that lead to big results.
So you're not gung-ho 100%. Do it or get it.
I can't force people.
Perfect.
You know,
I'm
and
the same concept.
yeah, I
don't
mean,
believe-
people have to be open. And if they're not open, I'm just going to be wasting my breath by trying to tell people to be a certain way. So I like to do, with harder clients, I like to give people baby steps, and then they can start seeing the results themselves. And then they start trusting me a little bit more. And like, okay, maybe this lemon water in the morning works, or maybe these chia seeds are working. Okay, what's the next thing, Grace? You know, so it's everyone's like a Rubik's Cube to me. I got to figure out
Perfect.
the formula.
I'm the same way.
And something we also see across the board is culture, right? I'm Cuban, so I come from a Cuban background where everything is fried with rice
yeah,
and beans,
your diet
right?
is very similar to ours.
Yes. So part of it is unlearning and relearning, right?
Okay.
Becoming aware of your body, becoming aware of the state of your mind and where you are, because we get so used to feeling bad, it becomes our normal.
Yes.
It becomes our feeling good. And then little by little, when we implement these baby steps that Grace is talking about, we start to feel good, our energy's better, we're digesting better, going to the bathroom normally. And once these things are implemented into your life, you start looking back and you realize, like, wow, now this is feeling good.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of lights the fire. That's the spark that lights the fire that prompts you to have this lifestyle change and want to change. So
We start to raise the bar of what feeling good is.
yeah.
I love that.
And both of us, I can speak for Grace and myself, we both have had a healing journey. You know, I was close to death at one point, and that's what changed my life.
He's lost 70 pounds.
I've lost 70 pounds. When people would tell me to eat plant-based or be vegetarian, I would tell them that was for sissies. That was my first response, which I think for a lot of guys, it's common for us to do that. And
Definitely
yoga
here on
and
Guam,
and I was totally plant-based for 6 years. I lost 70 pounds. I was alleviating a lot of chronic pain and injuries that I had in my body. And this, healing journey is what's led me to do what I do now. So I've been there. I've been unhealthy. I've been fat. I've been, where I could barely bend over and tie my shoes.
And you know what? Those are what touches the consumers. When you can speak from the heart and you can tell us exactly what you've gone through.
Yeah.
And then you're the person that I have the greatest respect for, because I'm like, what? You used to be 70 pounds? And then patients will say, well, if you can do it, then I can do it, right?
Absolutely.
So I love the concept that you said, unlearning and then relearning.
Yes.
And so one of the things that both you and Grace had said was we have to take baby steps, and then when they realize that they're getting better, then they'll start to alter their lifestyle. But how do you guys, in my setting, I proved to you that you're better because I gave the studies, right? I said, you're going to lose weight, your abdominal growth's going to decrease, your weight's going to decrease, your blood pressure's going to drop by 16.1 points. How do you guys prove to me in a wellness retreat that I'm better after 7 days? What, is it all verbal? Like,
Well,
I don't
I
have
think-
headaches anymore, I don't have stomach aches anymore?
Well, yeah, physically, how you feel when you're leaving, the things that came up, and it's not just stats and numbers. It's
Right.
an internal feeling, and I think that's the biggest game, because we can sit here and say, hey, we can help you lose weight, but can we help you lose emotional trauma too? Imagine that,
Yes.
being able to let something off your chest that's been holding you down for the last 30 years.
Yes.
And that's something, but also we target that through nutrition and through
Yeah.
self-care. Earlier you were saying that, self-care is so important.
So important.
And that's what we do. We teach self-care. We teach awareness of the body and how to feel yourself out. You have to be your own doctor. I always say, the doctors and the hospitals should be almost like a last resort, or when you're really sick.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
we have to go day by day and learn how to treat our bodies. And
So in the
measure it
beginning
that
of
way.
your retreats, are you taking my BMIs? Are you weighing me? Am I going to fill out a form that says I get headaches 3 times a week, blurred vision twice a week, diarrhea 8 times a week? Is that what you guys are doing? So in the beginning, are you assessing us to kind of see where we're at, and then hopefully at the end of the week give us some positive feedback as to how these 5 days have impacted my mind, my soul, and my body?
Well, this one here in Guam, we won't be doing more specific intakes.
Okay.
At our wellness center in Nicaragua, we do that.
Okay.
But I will be talking one-on-one. All of us will be talking one-on-one with all
that's
the retreat
wonderful.
guests, so we have a better understanding of where they're at. And I like to ask people how they're doing nutritionally, what their challenges are, and people often, they'll tell us all their health challenges. So we'll
Yes.
work on that all week.
So you individualize each client, both of you, and then you'll individually determine which body parts need massage? Educate me. I don't know what you do. Can you give me a highlight of what you?
Body work is so
I've
individual,
never heard of what
right?
you do, so I'm gonna Google it when I leave. But
Okay.
I won't have to if you just educate me right here, right now.
Not everybody's a Toyota Corolla where you can go to the mechanic and order the part and fix
Yes.
it, right? So,
Perfect.
and a lot of times when people come to see us for retreats, I can only see them once or twice in 1 week. So
Okay.
I like to leave people with the tools on how to fix yourself. We dive deep, we find out what's going on, and every day we do check-ins with people. Our intake is almost daily because we check in with them in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening.
Okay.
How did you sleep?
Really?
How did you go to the bathroom?
Wow.
Right? How did you feel?
That is
Are you sore?
intense.
Does this hurt? After I perform body work on someone, I'll ask them, I measure my success through functionality.
Mhm.
Not just, are you feeling better? Does your arm move more? Are you able to squat? Are you able to move a little bit better? And I could go on for days about the fascial system, but
Yes.
your fascia touches all your 100 trillion cells. It encompasses your entire body from your head to toe, all your organs, bones, muscles, everything. And that's where we work on fascial restrictions in my practice and what I do, block
Fascia
therapy.
restrictions. Never heard of that term before.
Yeah,
What's
so-
a fascia restriction?
So your fascia is, if you think of the skin on a sausage, right? It's like
Okay.
a coating, but your fascia lines your entire body.
Okay.
And it's all the way through your body, and it's a whole new frontier, right? For years we would cut through fascia, just stitch it up, or we didn't really focus on it in movement,
Okay.
right? But now we're starting to realize that injuries are caused in many cases by fascial restrictions. You can have a torn rotator cuff for years and not know about it until you go to the doctor because you have pain, you get an MRI, and then they operate you, you come out and you have the same exact pain.
Yes.
And I'm sure you see this all the time.
Yes, I do.
Right?
I can attest to that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so the torn rotator cuff wasn't the problem. There was a restriction elsewhere that started pulling, causing this pain. And this is caused by the fascia in the body. It grips it up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. So we're talking about a tremendous force in the body, and it grips to bony surfaces. So the way that my body work has evolved now that I focus on this in my practice is I massage more bony areas, rib cages, the pelvis, the sternum, the clavicle, areas that traditionally wouldn't get touched in a massage. And that's how I actually see results now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
You're
quite
blowing my brain right now. I totally want to. I just want to hang out with you then. The whole entire time there. 'Cause-
well, come on by.
Oh
come
my
on
gosh,
by. We'll,
I mean, occupational injury, physical therapy, all of those are things that people go through, and you feel for them because as we age, it doesn't get better, right? So sometimes there's that, like, man, you're never going to use your hip the way you used it when you were 20 anymore. And so I guess one of the things that you just enlightened me on is a different modalities of therapy that exist out there. I'm just in my little box, and Claire's opened me up to, like, opening the box and jumping out of the box and looking at other modalities. And so, gosh, thank you guys so much for educating me.
Yeah, well, even something like cellulite is caused by a fascial restriction.
Really?
Yeah.
Not by McDonald's?
Well, that has
The
quite a
burger
bit to
and the
do with
french
it.
fries and the milkshake that my aunt ate last night. No, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we work on overall health. Grace targets the nutrition aspect. I target the movement aspect. She does movement stuff as well with yoga, and this is a holistic way of healing the body.
Wonderful.
And and just one more thing, we say sometimes when it comes to a healthy lifestyle or meal prepping and working out that it's hard. It's hard to get started. It's hard to do this. It's hard to do that. Well, it's even harder to be unhealthy
Yes.
and to be overweight
I agree.
and to struggle through life.
I
So
1000%
which heart are we going to choose?
I agree. I agree. Are you guys like every day? I've never been to Nicaragua. Here on Guam, we have fiestas. We have globs of unhealthy food at the fiestas. We are now getting on the health trend of exercises and gyms. Clare Calvo has her Synergy Fitness, her Synergy Wellness, which is a positive asset to the island of Guam. What do you guys do? Do you guys just, to adopt this healthy lifestyle, do you guys just stay home 24 hours a day and never peek out of your houses because you don't want to be tempted by all drinking at the bar, eating the unhealthy fried foods at the parties? What do you guys do? How do you guys control that?
Yeah, we live our lives, and I mean we travel a lot, and we like to socialize too. But I treat my body, and I feed my body things that make me feel good most of the time. And I'm human. Once in a while, I'll have a glass of wine, or I don't really eat sugar anymore, but I'll have something. And it's okay as long as
She
as
doesn't count. Okay, she doesn't count.
yeah, I know that every day I
I
like
don't
to
even eat sugar anymore. All right.
I used to for many years, but I realize what's important to me to make me feel good and move through life with more ease and more joy, and those are my non-negotiables. So like I need to move my body every day,
Okay.
and I need to have a fresh juice every day, and I need to make sure I have 12 glasses of water every day, and I need to make sure I have 8 hours of sleep every day. And there's things that are very important to me for me to be the best person that I can be in this lifetime. And then I like to go out once in a while, or I like to have whatever once in a while, and
Yeah.
that's okay as long as you're doing that in moderation too. Like I feel like with a lot of my clients, when they're struggling with things, they have something that's not so good for them and they way overdo it,
Yes.
So it's just to have
Which
your things.
brings me to the
Yeah.
number one issue that every single one of my girlfriends has. So I want to know if you guys teach it. Willpower. Do you guys teach that in your retreat? Because it's really hard, and this is the truth, to be at a fiesta and a party and not eat. Because I don't know, but in our culture, if you don't eat, then you don't like Auntie Tita's cooking, and that's the facts. And then Auntie Tita's not going to invite you back to her house anymore because you didn't eat. But in your mind, you're like, there is nothing healthy on this table. But so you force yourself sometimes. Well, I know I do. I force myself sometimes to just eat it so that I'm so I'm part of the family. But it's also, but then, and I'm not gonna lie, so sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna have one lumpia. Lumpia is a fried egg roll, right? Just gonna have one lumpia just to make Auntie Tita happy. And then I go back and get the second one and the third one because it was so freaking delicious. Because I don't have the willpower. So when we're at the retreat, especially because you're a dietitian, do you guys teach us how to control that willpower and not go back for seconds and thirds and not glob our plate and not do gluttony, in essence, is what I'm pretty much saying.
Well, I feel like a lot of overindulgence comes from not having balanced minerals in your diet or good fats in your diet. So a big thing of what I teach is how to re-mineralize the body through fresh foods and also eating a higher fat diet but good fats. And when you put those things into play, cravings for other things start to disappear.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and
Really?
the other
Alright.
the other half is like, how bad do you want it?
Right?
Right? There has to be.
I never want the second or the third lumpia, but I just go
Yeah,
and get it. Okay.
Well, that's something that I've, having struggled with my weight.
Yes.
Even as a child I was obese, lost a bunch of weight, and then I was injured from sports, and I gained all that weight back. And only when I wanted it the most did I move forward with my healing journey, with the weight loss, and there has to be a self-starter aspect within, right?
Yes.
So yes, we give you the tools,
Okay.
right? We give you the tools necessary. We teach you self-care. We teach you all this stuff, but nobody can make you do anything but you,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So, when
and once you start feeling better, that motivates you to keep going.
Perfect.
yeah, we light the spark. You can either keep it burning or put it out, right?
Perfect.
There's that saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
Right? I'm sure we all know that.
Yes. Yes.
So, we take that approach. We're not here to force anybody to change your life. We're not going to radically make you do things. And when you want to do it, we're there to help.
Beautiful. Any last sentiments before we end this podcast? What are your last comments about this beautiful retreat that you guys are going to have at the beautiful Retidian? Any last comments before we break away?
We're really looking forward to being there and teaching people and being here on the island of Guam and just experiencing everything this week. And we hope that we get to meet more people this week. And I'm looking forward to feeding everybody and exposing them to different concepts about food and healthy living and eating.
Yes, we want to help people as much as we've helped ourselves.
Aw,
We
that's
want to
beautiful.
spread the message, spread the knowledge, and just help people become better. Whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, we want to help progression in the world. And we're only here for a short amount of time, so I wish we could be here longer, but we are going to leave our imprint here for as long as we can, and we'd love to see anybody who's willing to join.
And so, are people still eligible to sign up? Can people still sign up?
Yes.
And where do they sign up at?
At Synergy, with Clare at Synergy Wellness.
So go to
Yeah.
Synergy Wellness,
Yeah.
sign up, and please attend. And what do we bring? Bikinis, bathing suits.
Yeah,
Do we
yoga
bring our
wear.
own Twinkies?
No Twinkies.
No
No
Twinkies.
Twinkies. Well, what do we bring? What do
We're
we
the
bring?
Twinkie police.
Okay,
Yeah.
what do we
Alright.
bring when we sign up?
Just yoga wear, beach wear.
Yoga wear, beach wear,
That's the main thing.
hydro flask,
An open heart,
Bottle of
Open
water.
mind.
an open mind.
Open mind.
Yes.
Fine, that's great.
And also, people can come for the day and weekend as well. You don't have to just join up for the
Oh,
whole.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
if you haven't requested the time off of work yet, you can just come for a day, you can come for 2 days, you can come for the whole entire retreat. Bring yourself, bring your open mind, bring your open heart, and get ready to heal your own self. And I think that's the greatest reward that anybody can give to their own self, and you deserve it. Thank you very much, you guys, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
We
you for
appreciate you
having
guys
us.
coming out to Guam and
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us. Thanks for hanging out with us again on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Facebook KUAM. We appreciate it. We hope to see all of you this week at the retreat.
Woo!